Welcome back to Guide to Reads, where every book is a step closer to the life you truly deserve. Do you ever feel guilty for having needs? Exhausted from saying yes when you mean no? You're not alone, and this episode is your official permission slip to stop apologizing for being human. Today, we're unpacking Needy, How to Advocate for Your Needs and Claim Your Sovereignty by Mara Glatzel. A powerful guide to transforming what the world calls neediness into sacred self-care. We've all heard it, but don't be too emotional or too sensitive. Too much. So, you learn to shrink, to please, to perform. But here's the truth. Self-abandonment is not the path to love or belonging. What if your needs weren't a burden but a compass? What if honoring them was the beginning of trust, joy, and deep-grounded power? In this episode, we'll explore why your needs matter. Not because you earned it, but because you exist. How rest, nourishment, and safety are the real foundation of growth. What it means to build sovereignty, trust your voice, and celebrate yourself without waiting for permission. So grab a quiet moment, or bring us along on your walk, your drive, or your coffee break. And let's begin the journey home to yourself. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell, because your self-worth deserves to be a priority, not an afterthought. Let's get into it. Segment 1. Safety begins with self-trust. We often think of safety as something outside ourselves, locked doors, job stability, calm relationships. But what if the deepest kind of safety isn't external at all? What if real safety is the quiet knowing that you will not abandon yourself, no matter what? In Needy, Mara Glatzel reminds us, true safety begins inside. It's not about avoiding discomfort. It's about how you hold yourself through it. When we feel unsafe, emotionally or physically, our ability to create, connect, and express ourselves shrinks. Our nervous system tightens. We stop dreaming. We stop asking. We stop being. And yet, without realizing it, many of us keep reinforcing this internal danger. We criticize ourselves for being tired. We override our boundaries for approval. We chase validation, hoping it will anchor us. But every time we ignore our needs, we teach ourselves a dangerous lesson. I can't count on me. To shift that, you don't need to become flawless. You just need to begin showing up for yourself with consistency and compassion. Start small. Drink water when you're thirsty. Rest when you're drained. Use a gentler tone with yourself when things fall apart. These simple acts rebuild trust, one choice at a time. So the next time discomfort rises, pause. Ask, what would support me right now? Then honor the answer. Because empowerment doesn't start with control, it starts with care. You can be your own safe harbor. And from that place, everything changes. Segment 2. Rest is not optional. Have you ever whispered to yourself, I'll rest when I finish everything? And yet, everything never comes. That's the trap so many of us fall into, believing rest is a luxury we must earn, a reward we unlock after proving our worth through productivity. But here's the truth Mara Glatzel brings to light in Needy. Rest is not a reward. Rest is a right. We keep postponing care, waiting for a calmer season, a slower day. But life doesn't always offer us those gentle pauses. So we push, and we stretch, and eventually we fray. Rest isn't just sleep, it's replenishment. It's anything that gently returns you to yourself. For some, it's stillness. For others, it's movement. It might be solitude, or a deep laugh with someone who truly sees you. What restores your spirit isn't frivolous, it's essential. So start by noticing what drains you. Not everything deserves your energy. What boundaries have quietly eroded? What unresolved weight are you carrying? Then reshape your days. No more endless lists. Pick 3 things. Give yourself a finish line. Plan your restoration, on purpose. Because when rest isn't delayed, you stop living on the edge of collapse. You begin to move from overflow instead of emptiness. This is the rhythm we were always meant for. A life where rest and action dance together. A life where you don't have to burn out to feel you've shown up. You deserve that rhythm, and it begins with this one radical choice: to rest before you break. Segment 3. Feed your real hunger, not just your immediate appetite. When was the last time you felt nourished? Not just full, but deeply satisfied. Not the satisfaction of checking a box or grabbing a quick bite between obligations, but the kind that sinks into your bones, whispers you matter, and leaves you more energized than before. So many of us live in a cycle of emergency self-care, waiting until we're burned out, brittle, or breathless, then scrambling to recover. But what if sustenance isn't something you earn? What if it's something you deserve simply because you're here? Real nourishment means tending to what you're truly hungry for. Maybe it's solitude. Maybe it's creativity. Maybe it's just 10 quiet minutes where no one needs anything from you. And yes, it might be food too. But food chosen with reverence, not guilt. A meal where you actually taste the moment. The problem isn't that you have needs. It's that the world taught you to ignore them until they scream. So start by listening for the whispers, the subtle tiredness, the growing irritability, the restlessness that says, something's off. These are not flaws. They're signals. And the sooner you respond with care, the less rescuing you'll need later. Ask yourself gently, what am I truly hungry for right now? Not what's easiest, not what numbs, but what restores. And then give it, even in small doses. You don't need a week-long retreat to feel whole. You need 5 minutes of honesty, a boundary that says, this is mine, a daily act of kindness that says, I'm listening. Because this is how we return to ourselves, not all at once, but in small, sacred bites of self-respect. You are worth feeding, not just surviving, but truly sustaining. Segment 4. Trust begins by honoring your inner voice. How many of us are quietly afraid that if we truly showed who we are, not the polished version, not the edited one, the people we love might turn away? So we shrink, we perform, we shape-shift into what's expected, and slowly we disappear from ourselves. This isn't weakness. It's a survival strategy we learned long ago, to silence our inner voice so we could belong. But trust, the real kind, can't grow in silence. It needs truth. And truth begins when you pause and ask, what's true for me today? Not what your boss wants, not what your family thinks, not what social media tells you to chase, just you. Sometimes the smallest acts are the bravest. Choosing the socks you actually like, saying no when your body says no, letting yourself rest, without explanation. We're taught that trust is built by always getting it right. But what if trust is really built in how you speak to yourself when things go wrong? Do you scold the wounded parts, or sit beside them and ask, what happened? Self-trust doesn't bloom through perfection. It grows in the gentle soil of curiosity, of listening inward, especially when you've been taught not to. So start small. Make one choice without polling everyone around you. Take 5 quiet minutes to meet your own needs without guilt. Notice whose voice your inner critic really echoes, and whether it deserves the final say. You don't need certainty to begin. You just need a willingness to listen, and the courage to believe that your voice matters. Not someday, not when it's polished, but now. This is how trust is rebuilt, one honest moment at a time. Segment 5. Alignment with your values creates sustainable energy. Sometimes the most painful realization is this. You've built a life that looks right, but doesn't feel right. You check the boxes, chase the goals, earn the applause. Yet deep inside, a quiet voice asks, is this really mine? That's the ache of misalignment. The invisible drag that makes even simple things feel exhausting. Not because you're broken, but because your energy is scattered across purposes that don't match your truth. Integrity begins not with others, but with yourself. It means being honest about what matters to you, what fills you, what drains you, and what you've been carrying simply because you thought you should. Try this. Make a list of everything you're striving for. Now pause and ask, do I genuinely want this? Or have I inherited someone else's dream? Circle just 3 that truly matter, then pick one, yes, just one, and commit to it gently in small, consistent steps. 20 focused minutes a few times a week can realign a tired soul more than hours of scattered effort. Also notice what you've been picking up that was never yours to carry. Other people's expectations, anxieties, or unsaid needs. These are their hot potatoes, not yours. Picture a circle of light around you. Inside it, your values, your emotions, your work. Outside it, everything else. Declining what doesn't belong to you isn't selfish. It's sustainable. Especially now, when the world feels loud and urgent. You don't need to do everything.
You just need to do what's yours, because when your life aligns with your truth, you stop burning fuel just to keep going. You start moving from a deeper source, where energy replenishes itself and contribution flows without depletion. This is the quiet power of living on purpose.
Segment 6. Unconditional self-love creates space for growth. What if the love you give to others, patient, forgiving, full of grace, was something you could give to yourself? We easily accept others' imperfections. We hold space for their moods, missteps, and messy days. But when it comes to ourselves, the rules suddenly change. We tie our self-worth to performance. We withdraw affection at the first sign of failure. We reject ourselves to outrun rejection. And all the while, we tell ourselves this is necessary for growth, that only tough love makes us better. But here's the quiet truth. Growth doesn't bloom in shame. It roots in safety. And safety begins with this vow: I will not abandon myself, no matter what. Unconditional self-love is not passive, it's fierce. It means standing beside yourself when things fall apart. It means replacing the voice of judgment with curiosity. What do I need right now? What truth have I been silencing? Start small. Identify the conversations where resentment brews beneath silence. Ask, what is my truth here? Then speak it, not to control outcomes, but to honor your own clarity. Make space for care, too. Craft 2 gentle menus for your soul. One for comfort when you're hurting, one for energy when you're stuck. Rest, movement, music, journaling, solitude. Anything that brings your body, heart, and mind into gentle harmony. And when you catch yourself overgiving, over-anticipating, hoping someone will read your needs without you voicing them, pause. That's your cue to return to honesty. True self-love is not a finish line. It's a daily practice. A decision to welcome all of you, your brilliance, your brokenness, your becoming. Because you are not a project to fix. You are a person to love. Segment 7. Joy belongs in everyday moments. We often speak of joy as a prize, something to be earned, delayed, or saved for special occasions wrapped in balloons and applause. But what if joy isn't a destination? What if it's a companion, quiet, humble, already here, waiting for us to notice? We humans are wired to celebrate, not just the grand crescendos, weddings, awards, homecomings, but the soft drumbeats of daily living. A friend who listens deeply, a sunrise pouring light through your kitchen window, the way music transforms your ordinary chores into a small ritual of delight. Joy thrives when we stop postponing it, when we stop demanding perfection before permission. Light a candle while you clean. Turn breakfast into a quiet act of reverence. Let laughter interrupt your task list. Let presence, not productivity, be your permission slip for celebration. Perfectionism will try to steal this from you. It whispers that things must go exactly as planned. But when the dinner falls through, when the call is missed, you can still dance, you can still savor, you can still choose joy in the ruins of your expectations. Begin with simple honors. Each evening, name 3 things you value about yourself, not for what you've done, but for who you are. Celebrate your kindness, your curiosity, your persistence. Then design a ritual that suits your spirit. A cup of tea, a walk at dusk, a favorite song that says, "Well done, dear one." And when you forget, because you will, remember, that too is part of the rhythm. Each return to joy is itself a celebration. Because joy was never meant to be rare. It was meant to be a thread, woven through the hours, reminding you that your life right now is worth celebrating. Final summary. A gentle return to yourself. You are not a project to be fixed, nor a puzzle to be solved. You are a living story, unfolding breath by breath. Along this path you've been reminded that healing is not linear, but cyclical, a quiet turning toward yourself again and again. That clarity blooms not from control, but from compassionate curiosity. That trusting your voice begins by listening to its whisper beneath the noise. That alignment isn't a destination, but a daily act of courage, choosing what truly matters and releasing what does not. That self-love is not a reward, but a commitment to stay by your own side, especially in your messiest moments. And joy? It is not something you must earn, it is your birthright, waiting patiently in the folds of the ordinary, in laughter shared over dishes, in the way the morning light rests on your face. You are allowed to grow slowly, to rest often, to begin again. to celebrate even when things are incomplete, to love yourself not despite your humanity, but because of it. This journey is not about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been, and learning to walk with that self with gentleness, grace, and awe. So take what speaks to your soul, leave what doesn't, and may you return, each day, each moment, to the quiet knowing that you are already whole.